Welcome to your mat, everyone. This is a class that has Moon Salutation. In it, we're going to prepare our bodies before we do the Moon Salutation, just a little bit, and then we'll enjoy the flow of Moon Salutation. So it's called Chandra Namaskar in Sanskrit, and there's different versions of it, just like in, of course, the Sun Salutations has a few different variations. The Moon Salutation also does, so this is one that's just resonated with me through the years, so I'm going to offer you that today. So let's come to the top of our mat, standing in mountain pose, Tadasana, with the shoulders back and down, the tummy in. Eye gaze, gentle, just down on the floor in front of you, sending your shoulders back and down, opening your hands and really rooting into your feet. They're hip distance apart. Softening into the knees just a little bit so you're not hyperextending your legs at all. So just feeling open, relaxed, and tall here. Feeling the top of the head being pulled up towards the sky. And nice expansive sensation across the chest and shoulders. A little flow goes into the body here. We'll bring our arms up and overhead. And then exhale your hands down. So your eyes can follow your hands, especially when they get overhead. And then exhale, lower down. Inhale your arms up and overhead. And then exhale, lower down. Last one here, bring your arms up and overhead. And then exhale, bring your arms down. Just having a little pause here. Adding in a forward fold. Inhale your arms up and overhead. Let's hinge at our hips and lower our shoulders and then head down towards the floor. Bend the knees a bit more here and touch the floor, or perhaps you have blocks nearby. You can put your fingers on your blocks instead. And then push into your feet. Let's come up and around, pushing into those soles of feet and reaching with your fingers to the sky. Again, exhale all the way down. Push into the feet. Let's reach up and over. 2 more times. Breathe out. Good. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Good. Place your hands beside you. Have a pause and just a little bit of a shift and a resettling. Moving again. Inhale your arms up and overhead. Exhale, bend your knees just a little bit. And we're going to send our right leg back down onto the mat with your knee. Untuck your right toe. Fingers are staying to the floor for a moment and looking out in front of you, somewhere nearby where you were looking at the floor in mountain pose. Pulling in the tummy, still sending the shoulders down and back. And relaxing the right leg even more. Place your hands on your left thigh, expansive across the chest, soften the face. Opening up our hips here. You can change your arms, so you could stay here if you wish. But ultimately, we're going to be leaning towards the left side. So send your right arm up and overhead, left fingers down towards the floor. And you're just reaching those fingers down towards the floor. It doesn't matter if they touch or not. This right hand, you can also place it on top of your head if you prefer. And then just lean left. Opening the right side body. Lift your right arm up off your head if you lowered it down, and place your hands back on your left thigh. Place your fingers back onto the floor or blocks and pull the right foot in towards the left. Push into your feet and reach up and overhead. And then exhale your hands down beside you once again, revisiting mountain pose. Inhale your arms up and overhead. Exhale, lower down. Placing the fingers onto the floor, again our blocks, just making making sure you're nice and sturdy. Send the left leg back and put that knee on the floor. Looking out in front. Opening up the chest and the throat. Soft eyes. Flowing breath. Inhale your fingers to the right leg. Shoulders back and down. So you're trying to relax into the glutes and the hips as much as possible to open up your hips forward and back. Relax the left foot. Getting ready to lean. This lean would be right. So we'll start with our fingers up and down. Right fingers towards the floor. You lean, reach with the left hand. Or if you prefer, just put the left hand onto the top of your head. And maybe guide a little bit with your elbow instead of your fingers. Relax the left glute. This is a bit bouncy, but try to relax as much as possible. Bring your left arm up off your head and come back to a neutral spine. Put your hands on your left leg. Just have a pause here and a really nice big release in lunge. Fingers down to the floor, and you're going to pull the left foot forward to meet your right one. Hip distance apart, push into your feet, reach up and overhead. Exhale, lower your hands down beside you. Mountain pose again. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhale through the nose if possible. Exhale, mouth or nose. Maybe you sigh. Feeling into the hips after their first lunge. Inhale your arms up and overhead. Exhale, lower your fingers to the floor. Send your right leg back again and put the knee on the ground. This time we're just going to have the knee come forward of the left toe. So tuck your back toe and just shift your body forward. So this is a nice stretch for the hamstring, the joint of the heel or the ankle. So just finding that comfortable place, but not going so far that the heel comes off the floor. So fingers will stay down here and your gaze will lift, leaning forward just a little bit, as much as you need to be able to balance and stretch here. Easing yourself back to a low lunge. Going into our monkey pose or half split. So you're just leaning back. Right hip is perhaps slightly back of right knee or over top, and then you're leaning over your left leg with a little bit of a bend in the knee and a flexed foot for more calf stretch. Looking down at your mat, perhaps your right knee is where your eyes land. You can relax your hands. If you're able to keep them flat on the floor, use blocks. Stretching behind the left leg. Coming forward now. Letting those hips drop in a lunge for a moment, and then pull the right foot in to meet the left. Reach your arms up and over for extended mountain. And then just have a pause in mountain pose, hands beside you. Those nice big breaths happen again. Just to check in. Try again before we move again. Inhale. Sigh. Inhale your arms up and over. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward right over your thighs. Send the left leg back, put the knee on the floor. So you're finding your lunge for a moment first, and then you're sending your right knee in front of your right toe. So tuck the left toe just to be able to scoot yourself forward slightly. And bring yourself to the place where the right heel is still on the floor. And then lift your eyes. Moving back to our low lunge. And then going even farther to a monkey pose. So flex the right toe, bend the knee, and look onto the floor. Maybe your left knee is where your eye gaze lands. Perhaps you relax your hands down. Nice stretch for the right hamstring. Breathe 2 more rounds of breath here. Coming forward once again to your low lunge. Just for a minute to get ready, or a moment to get ready. Pull the left foot in to meet the right. Push into your feet, reach up and extend. Exhale, mountain pose. Just get readjusted, settled in again. Notice the changes in your body from the opening for the hips, the lunges, calves, hamstrings. Breathing in, letting it go. Breathing it in, filling yourself up. And letting the breath go, along with thoughts that aren't serving you at the moment. Just focusing yourself onto the mat, enjoying moving around. Inhale your arms up and overhead. Exhale all the way down. Touch the floor. This time, right leg's going back. I'm going to try to leave the knee off the floor for a nice runner's lunge here. Your choice to leave the fingers on the floor for balance assistance, or bring your hands to your left thigh. Shoulders back and down. Try to guide with the right heel so you get a nice stretch down that long leg behind you in the calf. Knee up or down, we're taking a twist next, just to wake up the tummy a little. Put your left leg on the floor in front of your left foot, so your arm and your leg are nice and close touching. And then the right arm's gonna come up to the sky here. Look at your hand down on the floor. This right arm, you can also tuck it behind your back if you prefer. So bringing the back knee down is totally great, super modification. So bring the right arm up if you put it behind your back. Just lower it down to the floor. Send the left hand outside of the left foot and pull your right foot in. Both feet push into them, reach up and overhead, and then exhale, lower down. Just reset yourself before we go the other way. Breathing in, breathing out. Do another round of breath at your own pace. On your inhale, breathe your arms up and over. Exhale, bend your knees, hinge at the hips. Send your left leg all the way back, trying to keep the knee off the floor if possible. Fingers down, looking out in front. And perhaps fingers up, looking down in front. Preparing for a twist, so we need to get a nice long spine. Put your right hand on the floor, and you're going to turn away. So I'll turn around. You can stay the same way, of course, but just so I don't put my back too much to the camera and to you. So lift your left arm up to the sky. Remember, knee can drop if this is too much balance. And left arm behind. Guide with the heel in the back. Send the left arm up to the sky. Put it down on the floor. Right hand to outside of right foot. Getting yourself in your nice lunge. Lift your knee off the floor so you can pull your left foot to meet your right one. Starting to rise up, nice and slow. Finding your mountain pose at the top of your mat. Have those 2 breaths. Just really feeling into those hips. Inhale your arms up and over. This time a forward fold, and we're going right to a downward dog. So put your hands on the floor. Step your feet back. So this downward dog, we're using to move our hips around after the lunges, to stretch our calves just a little bit more, to go into an inversion, moving the head. So weight is even in your hands and fingers on right and the left side. And weight is even in your right and left foot. Front and back, hold similar weight. And you're pushing your chest towards your thighs with loose knees. So once you've had a little bit of moving around, just hold still, pulling in your tummy. Looking between your shins or at your knees. Just a wall behind you that you see through your legs. Push into those fingers. Going to walk the feet to the hands and the hands to the feet. So you're coming to the middle of your mat. I'm going to enjoy a rag doll here just to have a few more moments of inversion for your body. So keeping the feet down or the hands down, feet are hip distance, or hold your elbows. Just relax right over your legs. So your chest and your thighs are touching. You move your head to make sure it's relaxed. Top of the head, crown of the head towards the earth. And just really settle in here. Going to slowly roll up. When you're ready, you can let go of your elbows and just stand in mountain pose in the middle of your mat. Going to get yourself ready for Moon Salutation now. So Moon Salutation, as opposed to the Sun Salutation, we're going to be using the long edge of our mat as opposed to the short edge where we face this way with Sun Salutation. So face the long edge of your mat. I'll be facing this way for the whole flow. So perhaps you need to move your mat and face me this way, or you could do it the other way, just so long as you can see the first couple of flows, and then you'll know the sequence. So same, mountain pose is where we start. We settle into the different spot on our mat with a different direction, perhaps. Sending the shoulders back and down. And here our arms are going to come to prayer. So our hands will touch, thumbs to the chest, dropping the shoulders back and down. So still feeling beautiful mountain pose here. Getting yourself settled, getting ready to move once again. Chandra Namaskar, Moon Salutation. Bring your fingers overhead. Good, you're gonna reach those fingers way up to the sky. You're going to lean left and right. So if you need to send your feet a little bit wider, feel free to do that, just to make sure you're feeling nice and secure when you start to lean. So we'll start to lean left. Fingers touch. You can have your pointer fingers go up all by themselves, or else just have your fingers touch. Big stretch for the right here as we lean left, and then we'll come to the center, and then we'll be going right. So big stretch for the left side. Come all the way up. And then you're going to release your arms. going into what's called goddess pose. So the feet go quite wide, the toes will go out about 45 degrees and the elbows will bend. They're at shoulder height. Open palms. And then just getting nice and comfortable here in goddess pose. Breathing. Going to push into our legs and straighten them out and straighten our arms for star. So star, if you like, you can just lift a little higher than the shoulders, or you can just leave your hands at T. So opening the chest, opening the tummy a little bit under the ribs, get some space. And then if you lifted your hands a little, just lower them down to wrists even with shoulders, palms down. Turn your toes a little bit to go into triangle pose on the left. So getting ready here. Back of your hand will just go to the inner left shin and the right arm will go up. So eyes down or up. Pull in the tummy, big stretch for the right side here. Top hand's going to come down and go onto the inside of the left leg. I'm going to turn both toes to the left now for pyramid pose. So front leg is pretty straight. There can be a little bend in it if necessary. Blocks under your hands or just have them touch the ground any way you can. And just lean over the front left leg for pyramid pose. Again, another hamstring stretch. But we had a bit of a warm up in monkey, so hopefully you're feeling all set for pyramid pose. Just step the right leg all the way back and find a lunge. So this lunge can be with the knee up, or if you prefer, you can bring the knee down. So there's different variations, different modifications to suit you today. Just bringing the eyes out in front of your mat somewhere. Getting ready to move again. Both toes to the long edge of the mat. You're going into a side lunge. So fingers can just come to the inside of the left foot. So this right toe can pop up if you're comfortable with that, or just leave the right toe flat. And there's also an option to add in balance where your hands would come to prayer. Having a breath here. And then fingers come to the floor so you can safely transition yourself over to Buddha squat. So you're in the center of your flow now. Once you get nice and comfortable here, fingers down or fingers come up to prayer once again. Enjoying your squat. Breathing here. We'll be coming to the other side now. So fingers down to the right. Shift your hips to the right. Again, left toe lifts, and perhaps you have a moment in balance. And then put your fingers on the floor. We'll be turning ourselves into a nice long runner's lunge here. Knee up or down on the left, just looking out in front. Pull in the tummy, send the shoulders down and back. Good, and then pull the left foot in so you can find your triangle shape for pyramid. So triangle legs, pyramid pose, draping over the right leg. Settle in, settle down, completely relax here. You can move your head if it helps to make sure you're soft and strong. So back toe might have to turn out just a little bit to make sure you're nice and steady. Going into triangle pose from below. So right hand comes to the inside of the right leg. You're going to send the left arm up to the sky. So looking up or down, finding triangle on the right here. Going to come out. So bend your right leg so you can push in safely and bring yourself so the toes are to the long edge, finding star. Goddess, bend your knees, bend your elbows. Send your shoulders back and down, expansive across the chest, strong legs. Good. Having another breath here just to settle in the center. Good. And then feet come together, hands come together. Bring your arms up and overhead. Lean over to the right. And lean over to the left. Your fingers over your head, and then just exhale them down to your heart space. Good. Pausing in mountain pose for a breath. Inhale and exhale. Good. So Chandra Namaskar. So that is the whole flow. So get yourself all set to go. This time we'll be going right first and coming up on the left. So hands come to prayer. The front of your chest, shoulders drop. Bringing your arms overhead. Point your fingers to the ceiling as your hands clasp, or just leave them in prayer. Sending your feet a little bit wider if it helps with the balance. Leaning to the right. Good. Now we'll lean to the left. We're sending our fingers above us back to prayer. Opening up to Goddess. So send those feet wide, those toes out a little bit. Opening here, bending at the elbows, but elbows are about as high as your shoulders. Breathe, pulling the tummy open across the chest. Straightening those legs out, straightening those arms out. A little higher than shoulders if you wish, for star. So if you have higher, just lower them down, preparing for triangle. So both toes are going to go to the right here, shoulders lower, fingers lower to shoulder height. We'll be looking at our right hand, right toe to the right side of the mat and left toe at about 45. Going to exhale your back of your right hand to the inside of your right leg, just lower down. Little bend in the knee if it helps with the balance or any strain you might have on your knee. You can put a little bend, and then the left leg goes way up overhead. Triangle pose on the right. Top arm comes down, framing the right foot with both fingers. Left foot turns so it's facing the right side of the mat. Exhale yourself down for pyramid pose. Stretching the right hamstring once again. Relax the head. Send the left foot back. Lift your head now. Open the chest and the shoulders. And the knee can drop if that's more appropriate as we proceed. Toes to the long edge of the mat. You're on the right side. Side lunge. Lift up the left toe or leave it down. Lift up the fingers or leave them down. So just looking out onto the floor, just away from your mat a little bit. Getting ready to move here. So lower your hands if you have them at your heart space and bring yourself to Buddha squat. So just safely bringing yourself here. Just going to move a little bit faster because this is our second round. So now we're coming out on the left. So fingers return to the floor. You're sending yourself to a low lunge on the left side. Challenging yourself in different variations. Playing around with it. Fingers to the floor if you had them up. And just turn yourself into a low lunge. Facing the left side of your mat. One more breath here. Pull the back foot forward. Both toes facing the same way, and let's just lean over our left leg now for a big hamstring stretch in pyramid. Loosen the upper body, strong legs. Breathing here. Getting set for a triangle pose. So turn the back foot, the right foot, just a little bit, maybe 45 degrees. Bend the left leg a little bit, so when you push yourself up from your inversion, you're not straining your knee at all. So now the left hand goes inside the left leg, and the right arm goes up to the sky. Open here. Choose your eye gaze. So bend the left leg quite a lot, so you can bring yourself all the way up. Turn both toes. Legs are still wide. You're bringing yourself back to star. Feel the middle of your mat. Even weight, both sides, left and right, forward, back, top, bottom. Goddess pose. Bend your elbows, bend your knees. Settle into a nice open squat here. One more breath. Maybe sit a little bit lower as we get warmer and warmer here. More and more open. More and more flow, energy. And you're going to stand with your legs together and your hands come to your heart. They're going overhead. Lean to the left. And let's lean to the right. Come back to center and lower your hands to your heart space. Take a moment here. And then drop your hands down beside you. Take those 2 breaths. Drink of water, anything you need here. Just to settle in. Have another breath. Again, bring your hands to your heart. Overhead they go. Point your fingers to the ceiling. Lean yourself to the left. Lean yourself to the right. Bring yourself back to the center. And open yourself up for goddess pose. So toes go wide, knees go over the toes. And arms at cactus as high as your shoulders. Pulling in your tummy, getting nice and long in this as your body becomes more and more familiar with the poses in the flow. Push into your feet and open up to star. Getting ready to move into triangle, left side. So lowering the arms to shoulder height, palms down. Turning the right foot and the left towards the left side. You're looking at your left hand, and the back of the hand's going to go inside the left shin and the right arm up to the sky. Lowering the eye gaze, and then the right hand will follow, framing your left foot. Both toes to the left side, left short side of your mat. Pyramid pose, lower down. Bend the front knee, right leg steps back for a nice lunge here. Look up. Turning both toes to the long edge of the mat. So you're facing the long edge, working with it. Side lunge left, hands up or down. Moving to the middle for your squat. Enjoy the center, have a breath. Open the inner thighs, lift the chest. Coming out on the right, fingers go back down to the floor. Shift your hips over to the right side. Moving moving to the lunge. So toes to the left side or the right side of your mat. Lifting your face. Send that back heel back to keep the calf nice and long. Getting ready to move that back foot in a little bit and drape over your right leg. The right leg is, for the most part, straight, with maybe a little bit of a bend in it. Left foot turns just a little bit to make sure you're nice and sturdy. Right hand on the inside of the right leg, and send the left arm up. Triangle pose. Bend your right leg quite a bit more so you can bring yourself all the way up. Facing the long edge of the mat again, finding star. Lift up and open. Goddess is next. Bend your elbows and your knees. One more breath here. And bring your legs hip distance apart, your hands to your heart. Send those fingers up high. Nice space under the ribs. Lean to the right. Lean to the left. Fingers way up overhead and release your prayer hands to your heart space. Taking a moment in mountain pose. So last flow will be going down on the right, lifting up on the left, which is the side we started with. So getting ready for the flow. Bring your hands to your heart. Lift the fingers overhead. Leaning to the right. Leaning to the left. Send those fingers up and overhead, nice and long. And then let the fingers go, goddess pose. Settling in here. Pushing into your feet for star, stretch, reach, fill your space, tummy in, breath moves. Lower the hands down for triangle, look at your right hand and turn your toes so you're all set to go here. Right hand to the inside of the right shin, left arm. Bring the left hand down towards the floor. Frame that right foot. Turn the left toe in. Pyramid pose on the right. Step the left foot back. Find your lunge. Lift your eyes. Turning both toes to the long edge of the mat. You're on a lunge, in a lunge on the right. So lifting hands or no. Up to you. You practice what feels right at this point. And then we'll safely bring our hands down so we can guide ourselves to the center for Buddha squat. Breathe and open here. So we'll get ready to come out of the flow on the left. Fingers down, side lunge. Left. Getting ready to turn your knees and toes. Figure a nice long lunge here. Looking out. Pull the back foot in and drape yourself over your left leg. Stance ready for triangle pose. The left hand inside the left foot. And bring your right arm up. Bend that left leg. Safely push into it. And just expanse Give yourself right into star here. Beautiful. Goddess pose. Pushing into both feet so you can straighten your legs. Just bring them in a little bit and your hands to your heart. Fingers go overhead. Leaning to the left. And leaning to the right. Bring those fingers up. Palms come together and lower down to your heart space. Enjoying mountain pose here. So just readjust anything. Just feel into the body. A lot of openings to the side, so it might feel quite different than sun salutation, which works forward and back. When you're all set and you've had a drink, we're going to the top of our mat. Just to briefly get re-familiar with sort of how we started. Going into the lovely down dog, just for a stretch, little inversion, just to wiggle out our practice. Inhale your arms up and over. Exhale out your mouth here. Put your hands on the floor and just step back into your down dog once again. So just see how your down dog might feel different. Moving the head, moving the hips quite a lot. And moving the breath finally. Really being aware of the breath. And if Moon Salutation was new for you, then perhaps here you're just feeling a little bit more comfort again, which is fine. It's good to be uncomfortable and learn once in a while something new. And then we're lowering our knees down to the floor. We're going to enjoy cat-cow. Flow at your own pace, your own rhythm. Going into your cat. And then releasing into cow. Look out once again. Into cat. Into cow. One breath, one movement. Each way. Holding in table, eyes between the hands. Just send your knees to the edge of the mat. The toes may touch behind. But certainly the knees are wide. And you're going to leave your fingers out long, touching the floor, and have your forehead come as close to the floor, maybe a block for support. And just surrender in child's pose here. Yourself back up to table and have a seat on the floor with your legs out long. So maybe you move your legs around, windshield wipers for those hips that have had different directions offered to them through this practice. Forward, back, side, side. We're going to recline ourselves and take a nice recline twist. Our legs are going to be nice and close in our twist as our flow is very open-legged. We're going to counter that with a closed leg twist. Eagle legs. Put both feet on the floor. Cross the left leg over the right. You can return your arms to that cactus shape you experienced in the goddess pose. Perhaps a T. Perhaps you use your right hand and you touch your left knee and just gently guide both knees over to the right side. Reclined eagle leg twist. You can look to the ceiling or perhaps left. Really have the legs close together and be aware that they are. After our moon salutation, they were apart quite a lot using the long edge of the mat. So you're coming together again. Lift both knees up towards the ceiling and undo your legs, hips to the middle. Pull your knees in and just give your lower back a little massage between sides. Maybe some ankle circles, point and flex the toes. Move the jaw, relax the face, forehead up and down. And then feet come nice and close to your hips. Cross the right leg over the left. Cactus arms or T. Or left hand on right knee and then guide both knees over to the left side. Eyes may go right. So your toe is touching on the right, but your knees probably won't be on the floor completely. Just relax them over to the left. Just wherever they end up. Feel a twist in your tummy and your legs close together. Lift your knees back up towards the ceiling. Unwind your legs. Adjust your hips to the middle and the spine to the middle of your mat. Pull your knees into your chest. Lift your forehead up to your knees this time. And then feet to the edge of the mat and let the knees fall in. It's constructive rest pose here, having the legs stay together for the integration. If you're feeling comfortable and balanced enough to have your legs go open again, they go long, wider than your hips, toes fall out on your mat. So you choose your integration shape here as your nervous system absorbs your practice. Comfortable enough to close your eyes or put an eye pillow on your eyes. Your Savasana as long as you would like. We're all starting to get ready to reawaken the body, opening the eyes if they're closed, just soft gaze to the ceiling, wiggling the fingers, moving the face and the jaw. Moving the legs by bringing them back into your chest. Lifting the forehead up to the knees, giving yourself a big, big Starting to rock side to side a little bit to massage your lower back. And just holding behind your legs and just pulling yourself up, facing the long edge of your mat once again and crossing your legs. So it's like mountain pose. Let's sit up nice and tall. Just readjust anything you need to. Really feeling those sits bones down on the floor. Hands to your knees. Just to start out with the shoulders back and down. Soft jaw, soft face. Soft gaze to the ceiling, the floor in front of you. Just having a pause here. We'll be bringing our hands to our heart center now. Have your thumbs touch your chest. And then bowing down to those prayer hands. Keeping your head lowered, bowing down to yourself here. And thank yourself for making the effort to practice some yoga today, to try something new. Moon Salutation. Just taking the time for yourself, your well-being, your self-care. And then as your head stays lowered, just quietly thank yourself in your own personal, special way. Breathing into those expressions of gratitude and thanks. Just taking your time with that, breathing 2 more rounds of breath with your chin lowered down to your hands. Starting to lift your face. And stay at the heart. Thank you for practicing Chandra Namaskar with me today.